Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading vlog here on my channel. Of course, since I recently, the other night, actually just finished Caraval, I'm going to be doing a reading vlog over Legendary Book 2 in the Caraval trilogy by Stephanie Garber. I'm so excited to hop into this. I love this cover, I love this green. Technically I have an idea for the thumbnail, which obviously by the time that you see this, hopefully I went with this thumbnail for Caraval. I actually just ended out the video because I want to start this book right away, but I'm hoping to take a photo with Caraval book itself and my green dress that I wore for the fits. It's kind of like a gown a little bit and it matches the cover of Legendary. I thought it was so beautiful, but that's beside the point. That's kind of irrelevant to this vlog. We're doing a reading vlog. I'm hoping to do exactly what I did with the first book, where I just basically capture some of my thoughts, maybe me sitting here reading just a little bit and trying to see how far I can get into this book, and of course if I love it as much as the first book, because the first book, spoiler alert, it was 5 stars. I'm hoping that this book is going to be just as good. I do think I am going to sit here and read just a little bit because it is a beautiful day. It is very humid because it rained earlier today and it did not take all of the heat away, which is great, but at the same time it is still very humid. It is not miserable like the last couple days, but the sun is starting to go down because it is actually 7:12 right now. It's got a nice breeze blowing by, the birds are chirping, we have the water fountain nearby, or actually the pond, the koi pond, little fountain over there. So it's just a very beautiful, relaxing time right here. And since right now my son is with my husband, I kind of want to just sit here and relax and maybe get some sound clips of me reading while also sitting outside. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Legendary. I want to do a small little update since I've been sitting out here for a little bit, just a little bit reading. I just kind of want to update. First off, I did not know that Legendary was going to be, we were going to be following a different character for the most part. In book 1 in Caraval, we were following Scarlet. Now we are following her sister Donatella, or Tella for short. I'm not saying it's bad, but we are getting more insight into that sister. And also in book 1, we already knew she didn't follow the rules. She'd like to do things her own way for the most part. She's just kind of stubborn in some ways. And in this book, it starts off right off the bat basically when she was a little girl with her mother. So we already know that that trend is continuing, which is great because that is a similar thing to book 1, and we love similarities in books, especially when they are in a series together. And also we ended up discovering at the end of book 1, it kind of ended on like a small cliffhanger, not completely because the book actually wrapped up very beautifully, I feel like, or very nicely, not necessarily beautifully, but very nicely. But then we got a small little snippet type cliffhanger, I guess, in the epilogue. And in book 2, we are starting to revisit that cliffhanger and also kind of unravel it a little bit more. And of course there's always something that you can't just be given anything, you have to work for it. And one of the things that the sister, I'm not going to spoil anything because I want this to be a more spoiler free reading vlog, but the sister has to find out what this secret is, or like the actual truth behind this secret. And this secret revolves the person who kind of made Caraval, and it is a secret that I do believe because of magic nobody can disclose or even point in the right direction what she is wanting or what the other person is wanting. Technically, if she doesn't retrieve the secret and uncover the secret, then she won't get what she wants in return, which is a whole plot. I'm excited to actually revisit, not necessarily Caraval the place, redo a game. I'm excited to see how this game goes in this book. Last game in the entire book was really good, I thought, so I want to see what this is like. And also my 2 favorite characters, more so my 1 favorite character. I like Scarlet, don't get me wrong, but my favorite character from the last book was Julian, and I very much love those 2 characters together, so I want to kind of see a little bit more. I'm not mad about following her sister Tella more in this book. That's my small little update. I'm going to go inside and see if we can hit page 100 because I'm not too far off of it. All right, I have an update. It's another day full of reading because it is hot and absolutely miserable outside in my opinion. I made it to page 110. Made it just into night 1 of Caraval, the part 2 technically, I guess you could say. So we are getting to where the main character of this this book is just now getting to the actual place that they are traveling to, which, if I remember correctly, Belinda, I do believe, and she's also going to a ball, and she has a secret that is not necessarily a secret, but it's like a lie. Also, she's meeting or supposed to be with 3 different people, or meeting 3 different people, or trying to at least stay away from one of them, but meeting 2 people at this ball. That is going to be fun to see how this whole thing interacts. And she's also with somebody else, so there's like 4 people potentially. I'm gonna sit in here and read some because I just don't want to go outside. I don't want to do anything. We've already been out all day long, and it's already past 3:30, and I feel like lounging around and doing nothing. I moved upstairs, and also I have you propped on a pillow. This is a pillow right here, so sorry if that's annoying, but I read just a little bit more, and I have to kind of update. I haven't read honestly too much more. I can't remember. Did I stop at 110? If that's the case, I only read to 124. I got sidetracked and I literally cleaned. But something to remember for the next book, as well as this book and potentially any other book from Stephanie Garber, is the fact that everybody that you meet, if you are not the main character, but like you're reading as the main character, every single person that the main character meets will then be important, very important, in one way or another. It could be they just met in the beginning on, let's say, a boat ride, and then they came to be a servant later on, or somebody who helped something, like somebody escape, or you know, you get what I'm saying. Pretty much if they meet somebody in the beginning of the book, they will come back and they will have some sort of story or plot or even importance to them. Secondly, I have, just like the first book where I already have some things that I kind of guessed about, and so far already at 124 pages, I already have one thing that I did get right, and it is the person that she was supposed to meet technically, and also that ties into the secret that she had in the beginning. And I have to say the plot, because of that, makes total sense, and that is one thing I kind of questioned, or I figured they are probably very similar, let's just say. And of course, you know, I was not wrong. And then lastly, the other thing about her books is you can pretty much in like the first 50 pages or so tell if there is going to be a romance, who exactly or which characters are going to have the romance between each other, which I'm not saying I'm mad about. I just feel like in a way it's enemies to lovers, or I dislike you to lovers, and it was more true in the first book, and I feel like it's becoming true again in this book, which I'm honestly not mad about at all. Again, just like the first book, I am enjoying this book a lot, and I'm excited to actually sit down and read finally, now that I'm done cleaning. I got super sidetracked. I love how, just like the first book as well, I start reading and I can, as long as there's not too much noise, because here lately I've been kind of getting distracted very easily by like if the radio's on, or if my husband's watching videos or playing games or something. I just can't read for some reason. I can take myself away and get into the book, like into the world. I just listen to all the outside noises. So if I can actually have a little bit more quiet, I can get into this book and stay into this book for like 20, 50, maybe even 100 pages if I really try to. I don't know how much of this type of updating I will do tonight, since I am going to read just a little bit more. My husband's in the shower and then he's got to go to work in the morning, so I don't have much longer that I can read. Pretty much another night, another couple pages. Hi everybody, this is a weird angle, but this is the only window right now pretty much, so I want to film from up here, and I want to show y'all what it looks like, because I just recently put out all of my books, I think today actually, and I am finally finished, and it feels so good to finally be done with this. But this is what we're working with. This is all of my books, both read and also my TBR books, and this is all 274 of them. On this first little section, I ran out of room for a lot of them, so I just put these books up here. I have a few from my childhood, a couple Stephen King that didn't fit below, and also one big book from the Game of Thrones series. I have box sets here just because this was a good place for them. My TBR jar. A cross that survived my grandmother's house fire that she had. It was a blessed wooden cross, and it's one of the only wooden things that truly survived. My book that I'm currently reading, which of course you guys know, it's Legend. On the shelf I just have a bunch of tiny books, mass market paperback books, all of my Game of Thrones, some Stephen King, 2 books I got in our Vegas community for free, Agatha Christie, Nancy Drew, my actual Christine book that I first read, Egyptian hieroglyphics. Then of course we have my Stephenie Meyer, or Twilight for the most part, Narnia, Hobbit, a photography book that honestly was the only thing everything that fit in between those. And then of course all the Harry Potters. I'm still working on finding 2 hardcovers for The Sorcerer's Stone and The Prisoner of Azkaban. On this bottom shelf we have all of the Nicholas Sparks books and then a few Christian books that I just had room for over here. We then have all of my Nancy Drews, all of my Hardy Boys, and also all of the older books I have. Moving down here we have just majority of my paperbacks, some of my favorites, and also I try to kind of keep certain series or certain authors together for the most part, especially some of my favorite ones. This bottom row starts with a few paperbacks and then goes into all of my hardbacks. Again, try to keep some of these together. Some of my favorite authors. I have all the Renegades at the end. I have Kenneth Opel, Veronica Roth. I love Card of the Mark series. Of course, my Adrienne Young books I love. It's really good that this is all complete. I just wanted to update on what I've been doing and also my bookcase now. Hi everybody, it's actually the next day. I forgot to kind of record a little bit because after organizing, I read a little bit and then we ended up having fireworks yesterday. I am now to 282, which is actually chapter 27. I've read a lot. I was trying to get to page 300 and I just didn't record because I was out with family and just didn't want to be sitting there recording what I was reading. So we had a lot of fun yesterday. There are a few things about this book, especially what I just read this morning, what I left off on before I took a shower. Oh my goodness. I don't know how much I want to read because I obviously am trying not to do any spoilers, but the very last sentence right before we end out chapter 26, I care about finding those cards. She's our best hope for it. Brother. The way I audibly kind of gasped and I was so excited. If this is real and this is a good turn of events and I'm right on something. I don't know. The plots, the twist turns so far, they're still very good, but I find them a little bit more cliche, some of them. It's probably me and I think it's more of my mindset and how I'm reading, more so how I feel for some reason. I'm just kind of not in a book slump, just like highly critical, I guess, and just not feeling it anymore. I don't know if that makes sense. I think I'm excited for another book, which is bad, very bad. So I'm hoping that this book will pick up for me right now with reading what I just read. It is definitely picked up some. I'm so excited to continue reading. I actually paused just so I could take a shower, update my phone, and then I was going to actually come on here and record, but it's been a little bit while after that. Like I said, I'm trying to get to page 300, which is not that far. It's only 18 more pages. So I'm gonna sit here, read a little bit, and then I might do some stuff today because I know I have to edit some videos and get started on some other stuff. I don't have my book with me because I ended up going downstairs and reading some of it and we are getting ready to go swimming. But I made it past page 300, which is great. Very great accomplishment. I have to say, for whatever reason, I'm not 100% sure why. I don't know if it's because I'm not go pretty much right now. I'm just chilling at home. I jumped back into the book all of a sudden. I was enjoying every single moment of it for the next 20, 30 pages pretty much I read or so. And I am back into the book where I feel like it's a higher rating. I am enjoying it a lot. Some of the puzzle pieces are starting to click more, and besides the fact that I'm going swimming, I would love to keep reading, to be honest. I think I know what the deal or the offer or the price for placing stuff in the vaults is, and I don't think it's necessarily good, and I think it has more to do kind of like a sacrifice. I'm so glad I'm recording me reading right now. This is getting really good, I feel like, for my reaction. It makes so much sense now. And I'll take one for myself in black. Honestly, that would be my husband if he was carrying me and it was a very long trip and then all of a sudden I heard the words, "Are you able to walk?" Him with his broken back and body from the military. The dinner with the Empress, the question that she asked, the performance that Legends performers put on, the end of the chapter, just all of it. I swear the tattoos on somebody's body tells a story. Kind of like Maui on Moana. I just feel like the tattoos are really relevant. If you know, you know. Hopefully this isn't a spoiler. I just read past the part where Dante leaves Tella after the garden situation when they're by the fountain, and she runs into Jax when she's getting out of the carriage. Well, she doesn't necessarily run into it, but she sees something. Watch instead of how Tella says something about her being somebody's love, watch it really be her sister. That would make everything messy. Also, I only have 18 pages, but I am struggling to not crash on this couch. This is a total spoiler. Skip to if you don't want to know. So wait, it really was Tella? She was the actual person to turn him? I'm kind of confused because this was a very long portion of the book ago, like maybe 100, 200 pages in, max 200. So why now at 370 pages are we getting him with a heartbeat? I finally did it. I got to the final part. I read my 80 plus pages for the day, and now we are on 384 roughly. I barely did it. I had to come upstairs, switch locations, try and read a bed to finish my last, I think it was like 7 or 10 pages. It wasn't very much, but I was so exhausted and I was falling asleep on the couch. And oh my goodness, the emotions during this. At first I was like, okay, I can't hardly get into this book for some reason. Like just today while reading it. I don't know if it's because I had a movie going on for my son, but for whatever reason I couldn't focus. And then all of a sudden I got into it and I was reading it, and then emotions happened later where it was kind of like that, not enemies to lovers, but like you were just getting that, ooh, there's a little bit of bickering back and forth, and then it becomes something else, and it was like excitement slash happy feeling, and then there was also like the confusion, and then we went back to the, oh, everything's good, and then back to confusion for a whole nother reason, whole nother plot line, whole different people. We're back to the main character trying to figure out if she wants to go through with finishing the game or not, and there's certain things that keep popping up, and I don't know, I'm very intrigued to finish this, and I'm having a good time, but I am so exhausted. It is like 1 in the morning, but I seen a bunch of annotations pretty much, and I thought it was a letter written in the book for the actual book. Thanks for reading with me a little bit tonight, and with that I think I'm going to end out tonight and also my update for tonight. Hello everybody, I look very much a hot mess because I am breaking out, so I have actual pimple patches. I've been trying these out and I kind of like them. I then have this still. It's also 9:16 at night, and I am wanting to finish Legendary. I have, I think, 40 pages left maybe, because I think I read like 10 pages today. I didn't read much. Pretty much I have like 40 pages left. We're right around page 400, and I do believe there's 440 pages, which is super exciting. I want to sit here, I want to finish this, and then I want to wrap up this video even though it is a little bit late at night. I forgot what I ended the last chapter on because I had some stuff to do, so I ended and I started chapter 39. Oh my goodness, how to start a chapter already right here. I'm not gonna try and spoil it, but basically I was correct. And also before we even got to this book, when we were still in last book in Caraval, I was thinking because this was called Legendary, we might end up knowing exactly who Legend was. And as of right now, I am so, I don't know, I'm kind of torn because I don't know what's going to happen. I have a couple suspicions on what she might do, the main character, because now it's like she's split in two, let's just say. She has to make a decision. I guess that's better to say than split in two, but she has to make a decision, and I feel like I know what her decision's going to be because of some context clues before, but oh, this just got really, really good already, and I just turned on the camera about 30 seconds into reading, and I remembered about where I was at. Scandalous. It's like the little things. That's what makes you love or fall in love. Not so much fall in love for me, but like that's what makes me like the male characters, is the little things. Even though this person didn't do the little things, he went above and beyond, at least of right now. Let me say right now, there's still time to change that. Without actually spoiling, I'm just gonna read one line. Basically, somebody asked, what did you promise them? And he said, it doesn't matter, I did it for you and I do it again. So sweet. She's doing what I think she's gonna do, isn't she? I'm being the hero. If you know, you know. I'm being the hero. She did what I thought she was gonna do. Also though, I thought maybe she wouldn't do that. What did he just do? Oh! If he just, I don't want to say sacrificed himself, I don't know how I'm gonna feel. I'm sure it'll all work out in the end because the first book worked out in the end, and I'm sure this book will work out in the end. Let's hope. Here's another quote that I don't think is going to be a spoiler. It's just kind of like out of context unless you know what I'm reading. The hands against her back stilled. I know you were willing to sacrifice yourself for her, but I wasn't willing to sacrifice you. I think that means that you're the hero after all. One of these books, I'm pretty sure the first one, talked about somebody trying not to be necessarily bad, but trying to be good, but not obviously the hero. You know, one thing real quick that I want to talk about that sometimes I feel like I get a little bit confused between the first book and this book, or just in general about both of these books, is truly when on the back of the book, I think on Caraval, it says just remember it's just a game, or maybe that's on the front of the book. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering what events, what like facts were actually just part of a game versus what was real facts that stayed within the book. And as of right now, I'm doing one of those in my head trying to remember, oh, was this a fake fact for the game or is this an actual fact? And then I have to remember context clues and think back. For some reason I get a little bit confused. I don't know if it's because how long I read these books, like how long they took me, or if it's just because I was on and off invested and then distracted. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that comes across good. Somebody's always very sassy, and I don't know if I can blame him or not, but his sass is kind of unneeded at some time. I'm sorry, let me get this straight real quick. I wouldn't call it a competition. I don't plan on giving either of them tasks to complete, but how can I truly know if blank is right for me if I have no one else to compare him to? Girl, you can't be giving somebody a second chance / dating somebody, in my mind dating, if you're also going to go to another potential guy, I guess I could say, sending letters, trying to reconnect with him and actually figure out who he is. That's not right. That's cheating. That's making me lose what I thought I liked about you, because now that's starting to change. I called it. I wish I could say it out loud. I wish I could have recorded it first, but I called it. Sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I judge books versus like any other book I've ever read. Like I judge them all together in my head. And sometimes with books I just feel like a lot of things are very cliche, or they're very easy to tell what's going to happen next. And sometimes I call things just because to me they're going to seem cliche, and who technically was heir to the throne, let's just say. It's in my mind cliche. I don't think it is, but I felt like it was really easy to tell who it was going to be. Yay! I made it to the epilogue. Now just a couple more pages left and I will be officially finished with this book. Hello everybody, I want to do my final update, final wrap up, and also end out this video for Legendary since I finally finished the book the other night. My son is actually right next to me playing with Hot Wheels, so you might hear him from time to time. First off, I have to say in the very beginning of this book, it took me a little while, a little bit to adjust to being in Tella's point of view instead of in her sister Scarlett's, or more so following Tella instead of Scarlett. I got used to following Scarlett from the first book and then we switched to Tella. I'm not saying I hated it at all. It just was a little bit different in the beginning and I wasn't sure how I truly felt in the beginning until the farther we got on and I got really into it. And also with everything going on, I love how she ends each book so far with a letter. I think that's so great. And I also really love how both of the books, they both have a lot of events, at least 2 if not more paths that each character could take. But for the most part, I feel like it's not always 100% that you know what would happen. It's one of those like, oh, you could see this one happening, but you're not guaranteed until it truly happens, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I thought that could happen, or I was totally blindsided by that. So I do enjoy that. I do like Stephanie Garber's writing. I really like how she writes some of the men. I like some of the things that happen. I like how there's like the little bit of romance in there, like subplot, I'm gonna say, for the most part. But other than that, I really enjoyed this book. It's not as good as the first one to me. I don't know if it's because I just fell into the first one right away and I had everything so imaginary, and it was just such a great book. But this was very, very close. I have to say, a lot of things I could see like a movie. I rated this one 4.5 stars, and I hardly ever rate books more than just a single star rating. Usually I just go 4 stars, 5 stars, 3 stars. I never ever hardly put any points or halves or anything like that on them, but I think this one is a true 4.5. It was very close to being 5 stars. It was just a few things that for whatever reason I was just not so much wanting to read, and I just didn't pick it up for a couple days, and I think that's what stopped it from being 5 stars for me. I'm so excited to start the third one, and also I'm so happy that I got to read this one. This was great, and I'm also happy that finally I reached for the series and I started reading it. So they're not just off of my physical TBR, but they're also off of my 24 books I want to read in 2024, which is also amazing. That's my final update for Legendary. Be sure to stay tuned for the next video I post, because I'm posting all 3 of these in a row if you have not noticed, and Finale will be the next video I post. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in that video, see my thoughts on that book as well, and then overall as a whole for the whole entire series. I hope y'all enjoyed this video as well, and as always, God bless.